Hello everyone. In this video lecture, we'll understand the multi-dimensional arrays. So multi-dimensional arrays called as the two-dimensional arrays. So C programming allows the multi-dimensional arrays, and the simplest form of multi-dimensional array is the two-dimensional array here. And this two-dimensional array which allows to store the table of values of same data type here. And now coming to the syntax of the two-dimensional array. So the first is what? The data type, then array name, then the size 1 and size 2 here. So here data type indicates the type of data or the value which is stored into the array, two-dimensional array. Then the name of the array, then size 1 which indicates the rows, the number of rows in the two-dimensional array, and size 2 which indicates the number of columns in two-dimensional array here. So two-dimensional array which consisting of the rows and columns here. For example, if I declare the array as int a of 10 comma 20, so here the data type is what? Int, and the array name is what? A, and the size 1 is what? 20. Then size 2 is of 10 here. So size 1 indicates what? The rows, and size 2 which indicates columns here. So size 1, that is the rows. Here in this example we have the 20 rows and we have 10 columns here. Now coming to the structure of a two-dimensional array. So there are two index values, one for representing positions in terms of rows and another for representing position in terms of columns here. Row index starts from 0 and ends with m minus 1, where m is the number of rows, and column index starting from 0 to n minus 1, where n is the number of columns, and array 0 of 0 holds the element present in the first row, first column, and array 0 of 1 represents the element present in the first row and second column. So it can be shown as below. If the array is declared as array of mn, then the structure of two-dimensional array will look like this. Array 0 of 0, this is the first position, so it indicates the row 0 and column 0. Array 0 of 1 which indicates row 0 and column 1. Likewise, the array of array 1 0 which indicates row 1 and column 0. Array 1 of 1 which indicates row 1 and column 1 here. So this is how the two-dimensional array look like. Now coming to the initialization of a two-dimensional array. In the first way, initializing all elements row wise. So here we can assign values to each element of an array by specifying bracket values for each row. For example, int a of 2 then 3 is equal to 4 5 9 then 6 11 9. So here 4 5 9 which initialization of the first row, and 6 11 7 which is initialization of second row here. Now second type, that is a combine rows elements and initialization. So the nested braces represent the individual rows, and braces can be removed and elements can be directly initialized as follow. So int a of 2 3, that is 2 rows and 3 columns, can be initialized like this: 4 5 9 6 11 and 7 here. So let us consider an example to understand how the two-dimensional array works here in the C programming here. So here I am considering in a C program to read the two-dimensional array and to print the two-dimensional array here. So for that I need to declare the two-dimensional array here. So this is example for a two-dimensional array. So I need to declare with the integer data type. So I can declare any data type here. So like we can declare the array with the double character strings here. So here I am declaring the two-dimensional array with the data type, that is integer data type. That means what? So it contains only the integer data values here. And this 20 indicates the rows. So this index indicates rows and this indicates the columns here. Okay, so two indexes, one is the row and another one is the column here. Then M indicates row, then N indicates the columns, then I am going to use this variable for the rows, and J I am going to use this for the columns here. Now first enter the number of rows and columns. So we need to enter the number of rows and columns here. So in this example, I'll enter the number of rows and columns as what? 2, 2. That indicates, or comma, don't get confused. Okay. So 2 is the rows and the 2 is the columns here. So enter the value of M and N. M indicates the rows and N indicates the columns here. Now enter the array elements. Now we need to read the array elements here, right? So how we are going to read the elements? So the position of the elements in the two-dimensional array will be what? 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, then 1, 0, then 1, 1, then 1, 2, then 2, 0, 2, 1, so 2, 2. So these are the positions of the two-dimensional array elements here. So this is position, not the values. Okay, don't get confused. These are the positions. So the first element will be stored into this position, that is a 0th row and a 0th column. And the second element will be stored into the what? The 0th row and first column. And the third element will be stored into what? The 0th row and second column here. Okay, so here in this example I have read the M value is 2 and N value is 2 here. That means 2 rows and 2 columns. So that indicates what? So this I don't want. Okay, so only the 2 rows and 2 columns. So these 4 elements I am going to read into this positions here. Okay, so the first position is what? So first I am going to take the rows here. So row starting with 0. So hence I am initializing the row as I is equal to 0. So 0 is less than M. So what is the value of M? That is, this is the value of M. M is equal to 2 and N is equal to 2 here. Right? So 0 is less than 2, the condition satisfied. Right? Then for J is equal to 0. Why? Because I am going to take this as a column here. So this is for row and this is for row. So how I am going to read here? So 0, 0, 0, 1. So the row value remains the same here, 0, 0. And the column value is incrementing here. So this is the column here. So 0 is less than N. What is the value of N? That is a 2. So 0 is 2. Yes, the condition satisfied. Then the read the element. So which position? I value is what? 0 and J value is what? 0. So this is the position where I am going to read the element here. So here I will read a element called 3 here. What my point? So next, it has to go for the control has to go for this for loop, not to this for loop, because this is the nested for loop. So how the nested for loop works here? So unless and until this for loop becomes false, okay, then the control will go to this for loop here. So first the control will come to this for loop, then the next control will be next for loop. So until this condition becomes false, it won't go here. The control comes here. So now the J value is incremented here. So now the value of J is what? 1 here. So 1 is less than 2. Yes, the condition satisfies. Then scanf. So which value is read here? 0, 1. Right? So still I value is 0. So that means what? So the position of the array element will be what? 0, 1. So the next element will be read in this position. I'll read it as a 2 here. Okay. Now increment the value of J. So J value becomes a 2 here. So 2 is less than 2. The condition becomes false. Then the control has to come back to this first for loop. Now the I value is incremented. Okay, please understand. Now the I value is incremented here. Now I becomes 1 here. So 1 is less than 2. Yes, the condition satisfies. Then next, come to the next for loop. So now the value of j is initialized to 0. Then 0 is less than 2 as condition satisfied. Then scanf. Now the array of I value is what? 1 here. And j value is what? 0 here. Getting my point? Then the next element will be read in this position, that is 1 comma 0. I'll read it as 5 here. Now come to this j loop. J is incremented. 1 is less than 2. Yes, condition satisfied. Next the position is what? 1 comma 1. Array of 1 comma 1. So in this position I need to read the element. I'll read the element is what? 6 here. Getting my point? Now the j value is incremented. So j value is incremented to what? 2 here. 2 is less than 2. The condition become false. Come out from this loop and come to this. Increment the value of I. So previously what was the value of I? That is 1. Now it is incremented to 2. Right? So 2 is less than 2. The condition becomes false. Now the control is exit from this loop and go to the next statement here. So the next statement is what? I am going to print the array elements. So this loop is used to read the elements and this for loop is used to print the elements here. Okay. So now print the array elements. So for initialize I is equal to 0. So 0 is less than 2 as the condition satisfies. Okay. Next come to this for loop. J is set to 0 and j 0 is less than 2. Condition satisfied. Then print. What is the value of I and j? Initially it is 0 and 0. So it will print the first element of 0 comma 0. Right? So it will print as what? 3. So this value which is stored into the which position? That is 0 comma 0. So we are printing that value here. Next, increment the value of j. Right? So now j value become 1. 1 is less than 2. Condition satisfied. Then print which value? That is 0 comma 1 here. So 0 comma 1 value is what? 2 here. Right? Now increment the value of j. So j becomes 2. 2 is less than 2. Condition not satisfied. Come out from this loop and the control will go back to the previous for loop here. Now the value of I is incremented. I is equal to 1. 1 is less than 2 as condition satisfied. Then again reinitialize j is equal to 0. Right? Now 0 is less than 2 as condition satisfied. Now print the value of now I value become as what? 1 and j value become as a what? 0 here. Now print the position 1 comma 0. Print this 5. Getting my point? Then j value is incremented. Right? Then j of j is equal to 1. 1 is less than 2. Condition satisfied. Then they print the value of 1 comma 1, that is 6 here. Getting my point? So this is what? Reading the elements and printing the two-dimensional array elements like this in the C programming here. So I hope you understood the two-dimensional arrays. So two-dimensional array which is indicated by two indexes. One is row and another one is the column here. Okay. Thank you for watching this video.